welcome to my 51st video. Thank you so much for joining me if you are a return subscriber, or hello if you are new. My name's Adrina, I'm an Australian teacher and mum, currently on a break at the moment trying to figure out this whole Teacherpreneur online space, selling my teaching resources and clip art on Teachers Pay Teachers and online. Now today's video is actually a clip art video, hooray! So I'm actually going to be sharing with you guys 7 websites that you can have a look into if you are looking at getting free clip art for commercial use. Now, I want to just have a little bit of a moment here to say these websites all have good, bad and ugly sides of them, and I want you to consider these things when you're sourcing clip art for your own Teachers Pay Teachers business. Now, when I first started Teachers Pay Teachers, I didn't really have a good idea as to licensing and just sourcing things, and I made a few mistakes in the beginning, let me just say. I very quickly learned, and I'm glad I've learned, and now I think it's my duty to kind of share that knowledge on with you guys. And so in today's video, like I said, I'm going to share the good, bad and ugly, because when you're a teacher and you're creating for the classroom, it's fine to be able to be like, okay, today I'm teaching about dogs, let me just whip something up real quick that I can use in my classroom. I created something, I can go to Google, I can copy that image and I can just paste that and I can use it in my own classroom. All good to go. That is fine. But what's not fine is if you are going to be intending to create a product or a resource that you are using clip art in, or even photography in, you cannot just go to Google, copy and paste. Oh no, that's like a big no-no. You cannot do that, and that's pretty much illegal, especially if it's not an image that you own. So I just want to break down the things that you might need to know if you are just brand new to the whole clip art game. And even if you're not brand new, there might be something in here that you didn't actually know, and that you might be just something to think about when you are sourcing things for your TPT store and beyond. So now to get into it, I'm actually just going to first list off the 7 websites that I am going to be speaking about that you can access free commercial clip art from, but I am going to go in depth and talk about the good, the bad and the ugly, because there are some things you need to know about particular websites and sourcing your clip art. Okay, so my first one for free clip art is Teachers Pay Teachers, my second one is Creative Fabrica, my third one is the Hungry Jpeg, my fourth one is Daily Art Hub, my fifth one is Crisilla, my sixth one is Pixabay, and my 7th one is Canva. But I want to really talk about Canva because there are some things you need to know about Canva. So I just want to do a real quick story before I jump into this about Canva. So when I first started my Teachers Pay Teachers journey, I of course, like anyone else, was looking for clip art to use for commercial use. Now Canva is such an amazing tool, it has the potential to be probably at the top of this list, but because of their terms of use, which I will go through when we get to Canva, that is one of the reasons why I don't use clip art from Canva in my particular products. To be honest, a lot of the reasons why I started my own clip art journey and to make my own clip art was because lots of different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons were the flexibility of particular terms of use and what you could and couldn't use things for. Again, I love clip art, I collect clip art, I'm a clip art lover. There are some things that really concerned me when I was looking at terms of use as to how I was going to use that in my work and whether that was okay, whether it wasn't, and some of it honestly was just really confusing. So I want to just kind of talk about those throughout this video, and hopefully that kind of enlightens or helps you guys out for anyone that's just brand new starting, or even if you're not brand new, just to give you something to think about if you are using clip art from particular sites. So let's go to the computer and let's talk about all of my lists. Okay guys, let's get started. So the first website that I have here for free clip art is Teachers Pay Teachers, of course. So you can go to your favorite clip artist and you can have a look in their custom categories and see whether they have a free clip art section. I have a free clip art section in mine, and if you just click on free clip art, you'll be able to see all the clip art that I have once it loads for free. So I need to add some more freebies, to be completely honest. But I do have a couple freebies on here that you can feel free to use and access and use in your commercial works on TPT and beyond. So one other way that I like to search for free clip art is to go, like I said, go to your favorite clip artist. Let's just go to Rainbow Sprinkle Studio, for example, by Sasha. Sasha seems like such an amazing person. I've reached out to her a few times and she's just been so lovely and nice and helpful. So I'm just showing you her store. She also has a freebie section, so that's great when clip artists have that section here. If I just click on freebies, like I did with my store, you'll get to see all the cool freebies that she has. Now, she does have a few coloring in pictures, but if you go further down, she'll have some more clip art that you can use for commercial use, but you need to be mindful because whatever clip artist that you decide to download from, you need to make sure that when you're looking for clip art that's free, that you need to make sure that's for commercial use, and that it's for commercial use that you can use it for what you want to do with that commercially in particular. So, for example, I'll go down to the description so I know that this is a free download, but before I download it, I really need to check a few things. So the first thing I need to check is that the image is basically high quality. You really want to be looking for 300 dpi. That allows it basically to be good for when it is printed out, and a lot of teachers print out their things, so 300 dpi is a great start. So another thing is you need to check the terms of use. So you can see in Sasha's or Rainbow Sprinkle Studios clip art store, she says here, graphics may be used for personal and educational commercial use. Okay, so this can only be used for educational commercial use. And it does say, please read my terms of use for details about what is allowed when using clip art / graphics. Credit is required for any free or paid resources that includes my clip art, logo, and link to my TPT store. In this particular scenario, I would have to click terms of use, and then you could download that and she'll have exactly what you can and can't do with this particular clip art. So every clip artist will be different. Like I said, my clip art terms of use is pretty flexible, and not all clip artists on TPT have this type of terms of use. And every clip artist has the right to decide what type of license, terms of use they want to have and what they will allow other people to do with their work. I'm just going to go to another clip artist that I'm going to show you. So Try Originals, Try Originals, they have some really cool freebies as well. And so for example, they do have a free section here, but if you are just wanting to see what they do have in their store, if they don't have a free section in the custom categories, you can just type in free in that little search bar to the right, click the magnifying glass, and if you scroll down, you'll be able to see all the free elements or clip art that they have on their store. So I just want to highlight that every clip artist is different, like I said. So for example, these really cute, cool backgrounds, if I clicked on those, let's have a look what it says. So it says here, so we've got 24 images. Okay, so we've got terms of use down here. You can see that it says all images are high resolution. Terms of use though, P4 clips, Try Originals graphics created by Patty Fortune are for personal and commercial use. Please enjoy the use of my graphics for your personal lessons, documents, or creative work. All graphics must be incorporated into an original design or resource before shared and are not to be redistributed as digital clip art pieces on their own. So you can't download this and then just put it on another site to sell. That's a big no-no. So to be sure that the clip art graphics cannot be copied and used by others, please make sure all digital files are secured in a PDF file or another secured format. Now that's something, if you are just starting your TPT journey, majority of clip artists will have this in their terms of use. Not all, but majority of them require you to flatten it at least. And so flattening basically means that you have made sure that you have put them through a program or made them in a way that someone can't just download that product, press the image, press copy, and then paste it onto another document or say into another PowerPoint presentation. They want you to flatten it, so make it hard for other people to just extract it, because you've either downloaded this for free, that only grants you the rights to use that, and if it's in a product and someone can just easily extract it, then all that hard work from you going to source your clip art is just gone out the window, and then they could use it for their own use and they don't know what the terms of use is for that. So it's really important to make sure that you follow the terms of use of every individual clip artist. And like I said, they're all very individual and different. Anyway, I want to show you how to find free clip art if you are on a budget, or if you are just starting out your TPT journey and you're like, I don't have the money right now to invest in clip art. This is another way you could find some free clip art. So you could go to the search bar, type in clip art for commercial use. Make sure that you change it on the price section to free. And this is a new search bar that has just recently kind of come out on TPT. So it used to be a little bit on the side, but this is new. So let's just go and press search. And then you can kind of just browse through what they have for free. And again, it'll be up to you to check the terms of use from that clip artist. So if you're looking for upcoming artists or upcoming clip art, you could also even just type in clip art, change the price to free, click search, and then you could also change it to not relevance, but if you go to most recent, you can go to people that have uploaded most recently. So this is one way you can find kind of sometimes upcoming clip artists that have just started, that they sometimes offer some more freebies because they're just starting out. Otherwise, you could also go to, instead of most recent in that section, you could go to rating as well. And that will also help you get some free high rated clip art things that a lot of people have downloaded. And so you've got like some cool borders, but it's just really about having a little look, going through and seeing what is going to be right for you, and just having a browse really to see. And so that is TPT. I do recommend TPT clip art because the people that are posting on Teachers Pay Teachers for clip art, they know, especially if you're wanting to sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, the clip art, a lot of the clip artists know that if they're selling on Teachers Pay Teachers, that their work is kind of designed for educational clip art use, if that makes sense. So I do probably recommend this as my number one place to get free clip art on Teachers Pay Teachers itself. If you are looking at becoming a TPT author, if you're wanting to utilize free clip art to begin with, just to get you started. Eventually, I do recommend going and purchasing clip art because you're just going to get more variety and more things that you would like. Yes, they do cost money when you pay for them, but honestly, it is worth it. Even though I create my own clip art, I have purchased lots of different clip art sets in the past, and I just love clip art. I love supporting the artists, especially on Teachers Pay Teachers, because I know that they're all independent artists or clip artists. And yeah, I really enjoy helping others out there on the TPT market, and just, but if you are wanting to get free clip art from TPT, that is a great way to start. My second website is Creative Fabrica. Now, Creative Fabrica is an awesome platform. I actually truly love Creative Fabrica. This is my second suggestion of if you're wanting to get clip art. Now, the clip art here, or the graphics here, are a little bit different to the clip art found on TPT. The graphics, however, if you're just looking for some free graphics that you could start off with, this might be a great place to start. So they do have a paid subscription plan that you can get, but we're just talking about free for now, so let's just talk about the freebies. So if you go to their store and you go to freebies and you go to free graphics down below, you can peruse or you can browse their selection of free graphics that they have. And so this is a bit of a mix type of situation because you have digital papers, you have like clip art. You're going to have to do a bit of digging around. But the great thing is all of these are free, and I'm fairly certain the majority of these have a commercial use license. I will show you where you can check just to make sure, but Creative Fabrica in general is a great platform because they do have a pretty clear-cut terms of use. Now, some of you might not know this, but I'm actually a seller here too on Creative Fabrica. I started in December 2021, so just last year, so I haven't been on here very long. To even become a Creative Fabrica seller, you actually have to go through a process of approval. So you have to submit an approval, and they have to look at a portfolio of yours to decide whether you are suitable to sell on Creative Fabrica. Whereas TPT is a little different. TPT, you do not have to actually be approved to be a seller, and you don't have to be a teacher to sell clip art either on TPT. The graphics here on Creative Fabrica are more selected only because, you know, Creative Fabrica does choose their authors as well. So that is one thing I actually do respect Creative Fabrica for in some degree when it is like more of a graphic design type of website. It's a bit harder to find probably what you need exactly for free this way if you are going through Creative Fabrica, but they do have, what I will say, what I love about Creative Fabrica, if you sign up to their email list, they send out amazing clip art packs. I will show you one in a moment. I've just gone into my email and I just want to really show you just an email that I've got from Creative Fabrica just to show you like the value that they provide through their email list. So you can see Creative Fabrica has sent me this email, last chance, 20 free watercolor sets. So they have time limits on these things. So that's why I really recommend signing up to their emailing system. I think that might be just by creating an account. But they really offer amazing values through their freebies that they send out. And they send out also free fonts as well. So if you're just getting started on TPT and you're like, oh, I don't have much money to buy certain things, then definitely go check out Creative Fabrica. That's a brilliant way to start for fonts and for clip art. And I'll just show you another one here. Like this is another email here. You got all of this, like these Christmas clip art like here's another example of a free bundle that they've sent through Christmas in July. This is one that they sent out just recently, and you can just see all the different like elements that come with this. So they're all for free and they send that through their email. So I definitely recommend Creative Fabrica, and I want to just show you guys too, because what I love also about Creative Fabrica is their terms of use. Let's have a look here, for example. So we've got some rainbow clip art here that is in the free section. If I click on that, so free section, you can see that the author will have a little description of what it's all about. So you get 9 rainbows here, PNG with transparent background, 300 DPI. Again, that's what you want. And you can see here free. For commercial use, it's allowed. So commercial use allowed. I always strongly recommend with anything you check out the terms of use and the commercial license for that. So if I click on commercial use, so you can see here too, all of our freebies come with our commercial license, basic print on demand. So if I click on the commercial license, let's have a look what that entails. And it would be considered, because it's not a subscription, it would be just, I guess, it would be considered under the single sales license, one-time payment. Okay, so on Creative Fabrica's single sales license, what I love about this is if I scroll down to their license in the digital end products, you'll see an example of exactly what is allowed and what's not. So you can basically see below, you'll find examples on how to use your downloads for digital end products. A digital end product is a product in a digital format that is intended for sale to multiple people. For example, a wedding invite template. Creating a logo or a website for one client is not considered an end product and is fully covered under this license. So here we are when creating digital end products. You are allowed to use elements to create a new design. For example, you're allowed to use floral elements to create a floral themed wedding template. You're able to create new designs combining multiple downloaded resources and adding items of your own, as long as the new design is flattened and the original items cannot be extracted. So similar to what TPT clip artists will ask of you, you just need to make sure if you're using these, you need to flatten them. So it says what you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to create end products that compete with the original product. For example, you cannot bundle multiple designs and sell that as a new product, or simply change basic elements such as color and size and sell that as a new product. You cannot sell in any way that is directly competitive with the original item that you downloaded. For example, you cannot grab a resume template, change the elements and sell it as another resume template. And you can't create a digital product that includes single elements or allows users to extract the elements that you've used. All designs must be flattened. So again, making sure that if you are using any clip art or elements from Creative Fabrica, that they are not able to be extracted. The image below here basically shows you what you can and can't do. So you can see that that's the original design or download, and you can't just grab that one piece of clip art and put it on like a print or a piece of paper for someone to print. That's not allowed. What you have to do is you have to use those elements part of a bigger composition of your design. So you can see here they've added all the elements around. They've added a little bit of a watercolor background with some text. That is creating it to become more like of a design and more of an original design using those elements. So it goes through all the other things if you wanted to use it for print on demand and whatever else. And you have a full license text here. And so with Creative Fabrica, it's amazing because products can be used to create unlimited projects and all products, both physical and digital, for personal and commercial use. And it basically shows you like you are allowed to create digital end products that you sell. In all cases, the product that you create must have distinctive new features that will create an entirely new product and won't compete with the original product. So with TBT, that is perfect for something like that because you can do that. You can see that this license is valid perpetually, this license is valid worldwide, and it's no attribution is required. I still, if I use Creative Fabrica in my TPT store, I still include them in my attributions as like the website Creative Fabrica, only because TPT requires or likes that you include attributions of sources that you've used. And so you can read the rest for yourself, but they're just some highlighted points from what I love about Creative Fabrica. They're very simple in their terms of use, and they're pretty clear with their terms of use, which is what I love and what you need as a person trying to sell online digital products. All right, the third website that I have here for free clip art is the Hungry Jpeg. So the Hungry Jpeg do have something called their freebies or their weekly freebies. So if I go to their store, if I go to their website and I click on freebies up here and click on weekly freebie, you'll be able to see that they have a freebie section where they have one freebie that they release like every Wednesday. So you can see here, weekly freebie, exclusive freebie of the week area is here. Check back every Wednesday to access a brand new design product, but hurry, they're only available to download for free for just 1 week. So you get these only for 1 week and then they will change the new freebie. So you can see here that this week's freebie is this watercolor collection by Anastasia Leneva. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And you can see though the quality of the expired freebies, like this Tropical Gardens watercolor illustration set is beautiful. That would be a beautiful thing to use in like a classroom decor pack or something like that, as like a tropical set on TBT or whatever. Like there's a few different things that you can see here that they were freebies at one point. So that is a nice little area that you can get some freebies. Now you do, again, need to make sure that the freebies that you're downloading do have a commercial use license. So if you were to view here, this particular clip art set, you can see that it's got the expiring time. So it's in 2 days, it's going to end. But you've got the license, so you've got a complete license, and similar to Creative Fabrica, the Hungry Jpeg also have a pretty good clear-cut licensing description as well. So if we go and click on the complete license, and again, that's a free download. Let's have a look at the complete license agreement. So digital end products, so it's a graphic. You can use in unlimited projects, that's fine. You can't use it in craft files though, if it's a... And you can see here, what is the difference between a commercial license and your complete license? Our complete license is our only commercial license on the site. This license covers all paid products as well as weekly freebies. So because that weekly freebie said it had the complete license agreement, then that is fine to be used in unlimited projects in a digital end product, which is what you want when you're looking at creating something for TPT. And so similar to Creative Fabrica, they want you to also make sure that you create it in a way that is transformative. So you're not just using the original graphic and then just putting it with a tiny bit of text. You're adding a bit more detail to it to really create something that is your own. And again, you need to make sure that the new design is flattened. So you can see here, you're not allowed to use the graphic as is in creating end products for sale. You will need to ensure that the graphic has been combined with other graphic font elements to create significantly new design as a flattened end product. So that is something that you need to be mindful of. And again, the terms of use are pretty clear. They give you nice, clear examples. And just be mindful too, you can't create logos with this. So just be mindful if you do use anything for free off the Hungry Jpeg, you have to be mindful. All logos created cannot be trademarked or copyrighted, as the ownership of the items belongs solely to the original designer. So keep in mind that you are licensing the non-exclusive rights to use the item. So you don't get exclusive rights to the item that you've purchased or downloaded for free. That still remains to the creator. So that is just that for the Hungry Jpeg. That is one website that would be worth looking into, but again, make sure that anything that you download from the freebie section, that it has that complete license attached to that. All right, the next one. This one is the Daily Art Hub. Now, I did actually do a video on the Daily Art Hub. I've got a Daily Art Hub review. There are some things I don't like about this site, and there's some things that I do like about this site. Daily Art Hub has an amazing array of clip art. You get a lot for the value of what you pay for it if you do get the paid version. But what they do offer for free is they have a daily free clip art set every day. So if I go to how it works, you'll be able to see there are 4 ways to be able to use it: free daily download, individual clip art purchase, full site deal plus. I'm talking about the free downloads in this video. So let's just go down, because it will say here, free daily downloads, free for a day. Every day we release a brand new free clip art. Each is free for 24 hours. Afterwards, it goes on sale in our shop. Just sign up, log in, and grab it while it's free. And so licensing agreement, it will say here, do I need to purchase a commercial license? Nope. There are a few restrictions listed below, but our art is here to help you make some cashola. That's what we want to hear. So commercial licensing, again, very similar to the last 2 platforms, Creative Fabrica and the Hungry Jpeg. They need you to make sure it's a part of a larger composition. You can see with the examples here, you're not just slapping on that one element and adding nothing to it. You're adding it to make it a little bit more different than the original design. So what can't you sell using the art? So the only big no-nos are digital clip art, digital embroidery designs, and digital cross-stitch patterns. You can create products to sell, but you cannot sell the digital design. So that basically just means if you're to download any digital clip art from here, you can't go and just upload it now to Creative Fabrica and sell those digital clip art things that you've just downloaded. No, you cannot do that. What you can do though, it says here, what can I sell using your art? The sky is seriously the limit, but here are some ideas. And what I love, A, it's got digital products. B, it's actually even got teachers pay teachers right here. So digital products, print on demand, crafts, printables, KDP, colouring books, teachers pay teachers, cricket machines, cafe press, party decorations, professional party planning, invitations, digital Etsy items, Zazzle, Redbubble, t-shirt printing, stationery, stickers, and so much more. That is amazing. They are able to like really actually even say teachers pay teachers. Yes, you are allowed to sell on here. So that's amazing. I like their terms of use. It's very clear cut. And if you did want to go check out my review on them, if you literally just go to Google and type in Daily Art Hub, enter. You guys, I'm on the first page of Google, woohoo. So I've literally got a review on this if you wanted to check that out, of things I like and things I don't like about that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Excuse the birds in the background. So Crisilla, this is a newer one that I have heard of, and this is one that I found quite interesting. So Crisilla, if I go to, let's go to vectors. So it says, get creative with thousands of vector files for your projects. Most of vectors can be used for personal and commercial use without any attribution. And the files come in AI, EPS, or SVG formats usually. They have a little section here with some categories that you can choose from to start you off. And let's just have a quick look here for illustrations. So you can kind of see it comes with a range of different types of illustrations. Now, the clip art as such is going to be a little bit different on this particular website, because I will show you their license information in a moment, but I'll just click on clip art here for a sec. So you do have clip art here that comes with transparent backgrounds. And so this is one way that you can use free clip art, but you do need to really check the information. Oh my gosh, Adam and Eve, sorry, that's just interesting. And Yeah, so they've got Clipart there. Now let's have a look at the licensing information though. So one thing you just have to be mindful about Crisilla is the license information. So Crisilla here is proud to present the craziest graphics for designers absolutely free. However, make sure that you use them correctly, as the content of Crisilla is available under different public copyright licenses. So what I find really interesting about this is it has a couple different licenses included depending on what particular graphic that you download. So you've got Crisilla open source license, you've got a public domain license, you've got the Creative Commons BY-SA 4.0 license, you've got a Creative Commons BY-SA 3.0 license, you've got an Apache license 2.0 license, and then you've got the individual license. So individual license is material is licensed under specific licenses by other authors. Look for detailed information about such license on the author's page, which you can find in the credits section of the material. So one thing I do like is if you believe that any content posted on Crisilla website infringes copyright, you need to send them a notification. They're open to receiving that. But the Crisilla open source license means basically all assets licensed under Crisilla open source license and published on Crisilla.com can be used for free. You can use them for non-commercial and commercial purposes. You do not need to ask permission to provide credit to Crisilla for redistributing an asset as downloadable good or product attribution is required. More precisely, Crisilla grants you a non-exclusive worldwide copyright license to download, copy, modify, distribute, perform, and use the assets provided from Crisilla for free, including for commercial purposes without permission from or attributing the creator of Crisilla. You can use and distribute up to 500 assets for a single project unless you got a written permission from Crisilla to use more. The license does not include the right to compile assets from Crisilla to replicate a similar or competing service in any form or distribute the assets in packs without limitation. This extends automated and non-automated ways to link, embed, scrape, search, or download the assets included on the website without our consent. So you can obviously go into more info and you can have a better look and a better read of this if you go to their website. But it's important to know they do have things that are considered from public domain and then also from the Creative Commons license and an Apache license. So it's just really important. So if I was to go and have a look to see where the material is from. Okay, so for example, we're just looking for fish. Let's go and type in fish in the top corner in the search bar. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so you can see some of these don't have the little Crisilla logo on top of it. Now you can see, so attribution link, open Clipart, free fish eye. So this is from the public domain, free for personal and commercial use. But it's also really important to definitely go check out, if you can, the author, if there is anyone that has publicly posted that, or go to more info. And you can read about the Creative Commons licenses. So that is saying that this one is from the Creative Commons licenses, and it's important to have a little read of the Creative Commons licenses before using any of this work. But you'll notice with Crisilla too, if you go back to the home page, you will see, you can see it says vectorized by Crisilla. So you have a little thing that says designed by. Now, when I read in the terms of use, I did see somewhere that it said that you had to, if you're going to use one of these designs, you have to keep that design by Crisilla left on there to be able to use in your product. So that is one thing to keep in mind too. You can't just crop that out. You will have to use that in there. If you're okay with having that design by Crisilla on that part of your TPT resources or resources, then that's okay, but just be mindful you do have to have that on there from what I read in the licensing information. Alrighty, so here they also have a bit more detail into the Crisilla open source licenses, and it tells you a bit more about what you can do. So read below for the actual license that allows you to use vectors, clipart, illustrations, 3D models, Crisilla assets in any project, commercial or personal, without any attribution or at any cost. Just don't try to replicate Crisilla, redistribute impacts its assets, or create integrations for it without limitation. So they basically go and explain, and they are very similar to the last couple of sites that I've showed you, where you have to make changes to make it more unique for the design. You can't just slap that particular image on and call it a day. You definitely have to add more to it to make it your own individual design. and to make it more unique. And it does go and basically say that the only time that you can use Crisilla as the main element, where you can see here, is for personal use, products for your own business, so design of your own blog or website. But you can see here basically they're just asking you, so if you've got this little graphic that you've downloaded, add it to something to make it a bit more than just that single asset or clip art. So they do break that down. Their terms of use is pretty clear, but again, you have to make sure that you are checking where you are downloading each particular clip art from, just to make sure that you know the source that you're getting them from, because they do have a few different licenses on this particular website. The sixth one here is Pixabay. Now, I just want to be really honest with you here. So Pixabay does have clip art and it does have photography as well. But what I want to say is you just have to be mindful that on places like Pixabay that they do offer free clip art, but I really want you just to question and always make sure that you kind of know, or try your best to know, where you're actually getting the sources from. Just because something's free doesn't mean it's free for exactly what you want it to be used for. Now, Pixabay does have photography on it, and it does have clip art, like I said. But my question is here, obviously you can see there's a range of different types of clip art, and if I am to click on a clip art image, I can usually see where the artist is from, and you can see the Pixabay license, free for commercial use and no attribution required. Pixabay does have a pretty clear terms of use, but I do want to just highlight, so just to make sure that you can go, when you are downloading, making sure that you can see the author and seeing if they look legit, seeing if they're cohesive with what other things they have posted as well. But also not just that, but just checking out the terms of use. So if I click on the Pixabay license, you can see they've got a pretty simple Pixabay license. Our license empowers creators and protects our community. We want to keep it as simple as possible. Here's an overview of what Pixabay content can and can't be used for. So all content, images, videos, music on Pixabay can be used for free for commercial and non-commercial use across print and digital, except in the cases mentioned in what is not allowed. Attribution is not required. Giving credit to the artist or Pixabay is not necessary, but it's always appreciated by our community. You can make modifications to content from Pixabay. So what you can't do is the section only applies to media users and not to the appropriate artist. You can't redistribute or sell Pixabay content on other stock or wallpaper platforms. You can't sell unaltered copies of content, so don't sell an exact copy of a stock photo as opposed to print or physical product. Don't portray identifiable people in a bad light or in a way that is offensive. And don't use content with identifiable persons or brands to create a misleading association with a product or service. Now, one thing I want to just highlight here too, if you are someone on TBT that uses photography, this is where it gets a little bit more complex, because if you click on here, learn more model and property release. Now, this doesn't necessarily apply to clip art, but it's something that I know some TBT authors get photography off places like this. Now, you need to be careful, because if you go down to here, and this was updated 23rd of this year, 2022. If you go to this conclusion section, understand that Pixabay images can be used in many instances without asking permission from the image author. However, it is your responsibility to make sure the depicted content, persons, logos, designs, property, etc. is suitable for your use and does not infringe any rights. Now, what that basically means is they need to be, the people that are uploading to Pixabay need to have a model release. Especially for commercial use. So that means someone has given permission and said, yes, I've signed a model release, or I've given permission that I can be used in that way. And you'll see here, we require that any content uploaded to Pixabay which features identifiable people must have an accompanying release from those identifiable people under which they give their consent for public usage of their images. This is meant by the term model release. If we click on model release, we can see, once it loads, a model release on Wikipedia, known in similar contents as a liability waiver, is a legal release typically signed by the subject of a photograph granting permission to publish the photograph in one form or another. So the legal rights of the signatories in reference to the material is thereafter subject to the allowances and restrictions stated in the release, and also possibly in exchange for compensation paid to the photographed person. So my only issue with Pixabay license and Pixabay in general when it comes to like photography is if I was to type in like school kids, for example, and so we've got all these free images from school kids. Let's click on this one, for example. So we've got this cute boy and he's holding a little chalkboard. Amazing. Oh, it says free download. Awesome. It says Pixabay license, free for commercial use, no attribution required. On first glance, you'll be like, yeah, okay, yep, awesome, free download, I can download, use it for free. Okay, but let's look a bit further into it now. Let's go and see who's the author that has uploaded this. All right, so we're going to the author. We can see that they've got a vast array of other children here on their photography journey. I'm not saying that they don't have a model release, but what I can see is there's a lot of children in here and a lot of people that could be identified that there's a lot of people that would have had to sign a model release to say that, yes, I would be able to be used in a commercial way by other people on the internet. Now, with kids, I would imagine also it would have to be a parent's signature to allow that. So yes, that person who has uploaded this may have taken that photograph themselves, but do they actually have a model release to allow these children to be on this website? That is my question. It's very hard to know whether these people have the actual model release, because what I'm seeing is, if I'm looking at this profile, if I'm really thinking about it, it doesn't have anywhere or say anywhere that they have the permissions to, put this online, which can be the tricky part, because from Pixabay's licensing terms, you'd assume that, yeah, I can use this for commercial use, right? But really, does this boy or does this girl or do these kids know that they're even on this website? That is my question. So that's kind of one thing when it comes to photography, if you're a Teachers Pay Teachers person that is using photography. And similar thing with clip art too, like if someone is to upload the clip art, has it come from an authentic source? That is something you just have to question, because you don't want to be putting yourself in a situation where, you're like, oh yeah, I've used this, they've said I could, but in the terms of use in the fine print, they've said it's up to you as the business owner to make sure that you've done your due diligence to make sure that you have the correct licenses for that, which would mean contacting this person and seeing if they did have the model release for these individual children. So that is just where it kind of gets a little bit complicated. And that's why I just wanted to mention that even though things are free, it can get more complex, and it's really important to just know that where you're getting your free stuff from, and I mean even your paid stuff. I have also had an experience with Etsy where I purchased, no, it wasn't clip art, but it was fonts off Etsy. They said, yes, you could use for commercial use. Then I looked a bit further into it. This is when I first started, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's fonts here that are, when I looked up the actual font license, it's a single font and it was a paid font. And I didn't pay for that particular license. So then I was like, I can't use these unless I go and purchase the actual license for those fonts. And so even though I got that font for a cheap price on Etsy, that person who had compiled that font group didn't actually have the permissions to be able to do that. So that was where I was like, oh my goodness, this can be really easily replicated, and it's really important to be careful in that way, and also to just be mindful of that. So anyway, that's kind of my issue, I guess, with Pixabay when it comes to photography. And I guess like even with the clip art, like yes, it's free. Some of them I'm sure that have been uploaded here by the actual creators, but there may be some that they actually weren't. I don't know. It's very hard to tell. It's very hard to know if you don't know who the artistic author is, and that's the tricky part. So next of all, we have Canva. Okay, so let's talk Canva. From the outside, Canva actually is an amazing tool. I do love what Canva has, but when it comes to the actual terms of use, things get a little bit blurry. Now, The reason why I feel this way is because when I first started TPT, I came to Canva and I was like, oh, there's so many amazing cool graphics that you could use, and a lot of them are free. Like, I could make so many cool different things, but the terms of use can kind of be a little bit confusing, to say the least. And the similar thing applies. I'll just show you, for example, first. So we've got some graphics here. And if you go to the graphics, so these are just in the elements section, and if you just go to graphics, you can see all graphics, and there's little collections as well that you can have a look at down the bottom here. We'll go into maybe this collection of people, and we'll go to the 3 dots. So we can see here, okay, free, awesome. It's by Sketchify, it seems like, and so free, yep, awesome, free Clipart. If I clicked on it, it would go into my page. I can use him, all right, cool. Now, if I go to the dots, we go to this little eye. Okay, so licensing made simple. All Canva's users get this media for free. Okay, cool. What's allowed? Use this media safely in a Canva design. Okay, that's great for personal or commercial use. Awesome. All right, you can use this in marketing or social media, or even sell merchandise without restrictions. That's great. All right, don't sell, redistribute, or take credit for unaltered media provided through Canva. Okay, understand? You can't trademark designs with stock media, so be careful using it in logos. Okay, so I already know just by reading that, I can't, if I was making my TPT store and I was to make a logo for my TPT store, I couldn't use any of these graphics on my TPT store. And it does say more about this in the license. So we can just read more about this in the actual license. And you'll see they go through the difference between free and pro. Now, one thing that I get a little bit caught up in with Canva is when you go down, so they do have again, I'm not going to go through this too much because this video will get a bit too long, but from the get-go, it seems pretty good. You can use our content in Canva design for a wide range of personal and commercial uses. Okay, awesome. Yeah, social media marketing, awesome. Just don't resell, redistribute, or take credit for content provided through Canva. Yep, okay, understand. So it says here, by using content in a design, you're creating something unique. Once you do, there are very few restrictions on what you can do with your creations. Go wild. However, standalone content, for example, a photo used on its own without any other design elements, has restrictions. For example, it can't be printed on products or merchandise for sale. So similar to the other sites that I mentioned, they do need to have that extra added element to it to be able to for sale. And that's understandable because that's like making something your own. When using pro content for certain online uses such as websites and ebooks, please be aware that there is a pixel limit for unedited media, So that's not too bad about that. But again, the trademark and logos thing is something you can only use the fonts and the basic shapes and lines to make a logo, because you can't trademark. Say if you're making a logo on TPT and you want to use one of those clip art elements, you can't trademark your logo if it's utilizing elements that someone else has created on, especially if it's uploaded to Canva, because anyone can use that graphic. So it's important that if you are starting a TPT business, you can't just create a logo with using any of the graphics. You can only use it with the shapes and the fonts. So be mindful of that when you're going into, if you're doing a TPT business. Now, another thing, if you do have a pro account and you've been making some sort of templates for TPT, that is not allowed. So selling templates, unless it's a template created for use on Canva, you can't use the pro content in templates of any nature. So if you're a template designer, check out how you can join our Canva creative program. So for example, if you're going to make an editable name tag and you're going to use some of the Canva pro elements, and you were going to say, you're going to export it as a PDF, upload it to PowerPoint, and then make it editable. No, you can't do that because you cannot use any of the pro content in any of the templates of any nature. So that is one big thing that you cannot do on Canva using any of those pro elements. Now, another thing that kind of is a little bit blurry for me too. All right, now when it comes to also the images used in Canva, similar to Pixabay and Pexels, if you go to read their full license, if you go into Canva's full licenses agreement, now if you go down, so what applies to the free what license applies to free content. So you can see check the source by hovering over the content in the object panel, then clicking the info icon in the toolbar, which is those 3 dots. You can see if it's free. But the thing that gets me is if the free content comes from Pixabay, please refer to the Pixabay license. If the free content comes from Pexels, please refer to the Pexels license. If the free content is labeled CC0 or public domain, please refer to the CC0 license or the source listed. If it isn't from Pixabay, Pexels, or CC0, it's covered by the free content license. So under the terms of this agreement, we grant you perpetual non-exclusive. So non-exclusive means it's not just for you. Non-transferable subject to section 4A below. Worldwide license to use the free content for the permitted uses defined in section 5 and 6 below. So what kind of gets me here when I go to 4A, additional rights for client designs. A Canva design incorporating content can only be transferred to a single client. So it also says, so what gets me here in 4A, additional rights for client designs. You may transfer a Canva design containing content free or pro to a client for the client's own use, subject to the following terms. You will enter into a written agreement with your client that stipulates that the client's use of the Canva design must only be for their use and must be in accordance with these terms. You will remain solely responsible and liable for your client's compliance with these terms, and a Canva design incorporating content can only be transferred to a single client. For the avoidance of doubt, this section 4A does not entitle you to transfer or sublicense content to your client for use outside of a Canva design or a standalone basis, unless the license terms allow this. Now, another thing that I want to just highlight as well. So my question here is, okay, a single client, when we're selling on TPT, it's not a single client as per se, because we're selling that particular download multiple times. So that's where I kind of question that particular part of the terms of use. And not only that, this part here, so when you go down to the disclaimers, releases are generally not obtained for free content, and some jurisdictions provide legal protection against a person's image, likeness, or property being used for commercial purposes when they have not provided a release. Canva doesn't grant any right nor make any warranty for the use of names, people, trademarks, trade dress, logos, registered designs, or works of art or architecture depicted in free content. You're solely responsible for determining whether a release is required for any proposed use of free content and obtaining such release. While we've made reasonable efforts to correctly categorize, keyword, caption, and title the content, Canva does not warrant the accuracy of the information or any metadata that may be provided with the content. So it's just in these little fine print areas that you really think, oh, okay, so for example, so if I go into photos and go see all, and then I go to school kids, and then I can see this one here, it's free. Okay, click on the dots, free, awesome. Okay, but I can see, okay, from Pexels, and it's by Anastasia Shriva. And so if I go to Pexels, and then I type in her, Anastasia, so I've already looked her up, Anastasia Shriva, let's go to users, and most likely this one, yes. So if I go to her, she's got the same name. So she's got a lot of followers and everything like that. So she's most likely taken this photo. You can see she's got some beautiful photography here. But my question is, if reading the terms of use from Canva, if I am solely responsible to make sure that that model release, that I have a copy, or even just know that is accessible, how do I know that she has the model release for that particular photo, of children eating the canteen on Canva? She very well might do, but it's just very hard to know whether she does or not, and where I could, I could possibly contact her, but that would be up to me to make sure that was there for me to be able to access if I needed to pull from that. So my issue here is, even though the content's the content is free, you can see that Canva sources things from Pixabay and Pexels. And of course, Pixabay and Pexels will try to do their best to be able to control who's posting and that they have the rights and they've got their own terms of use for people uploading. But you can't guarantee necessarily, unless you truly know the artist or they have a model release or a signed paperwork that you can get from that, to know that they are allowed to be posting these people online. That is kind of the tricky part about that, and that's what can get, a little bit more complex and complicated. Now, I think Canva is such an amazing tool and it allows you to create so many amazing things, but that is just one of the reasons why I don't use the Canva content, because I'm still a bit wary about it. And I have seen also in actually some TBT groups on Facebook that I'm a part of, that people have actually reached out to Canva and they've asked whether using their content from the pro account is allowed to be used in digital downloads on TPT, and they've said no. Now, I don't want you to just take my word for it. If you are confused or unsure, I want you to reach out to Canva so you can get your own understanding and own answer. This is just things that I have seen, that I've learned, and that I have questions about in regards to the licensing terms and the free content. So just be mindful of that when you are looking at getting free stuff, and just be mindful of it. That's all I really want to say with that. Whatever download that you get, whether it's free or paid, always check the terms of use, because that is going to determine whether you can or can't use it for exactly what you want it to be used for. And hopefully me sharing those 7 websites that you can get free Clipart on has given you some food for thought. I really would probably recommend the first 2 the most. That's Teachers Pay Teachers and Creative Fabrica. If you are looking Clipart for free, my top pick would be Teachers Pay Teachers if you are looking for free Clipart for your Teachers Pay Teachers resources, but making sure that you check the Clipartist's terms of use. Okay, with that being said, I will see you in my talking head. Alrighties guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video if you watched it all the way through. Now, I just hope that this video was a little bit informative, gave you some food for thought as to where you're sourcing your Clipart from and how you're using it in your Teachers Pay Teachers business. So they're just important to know. I have made mistakes when I first started, and like I said, I didn't know certain things at the time, but I've learnt, and I think it's important to share that knowledge now that I've learnt that, to know better and do better. So I just want to share that with you guys, and hopefully if you are just a beginner looking for free Clipart to use in your products, because I know we don't all have the budget to begin with, and a lot of the time we just need to start with free things. But like I said, I do really recommend the top 2 in this video, which is Teachers Pay Teachers and Creative Fabrica, and I will have a link down below if you would like to have a look at that. Again, what I love about Teachers Pay Teachers and Creative Fabrica is Teachers Pay Teachers, with every clip artist, they have their individual terms of use. So they are really clear for the majority of clip artists. When you download from TPT, they're very clear of what you can and can't do. And if you are looking for clip art to use on your Teachers Pay Teachers products, the clip art found on TPT is usually designed for commercial use in that space. I know my clip art is very flexible and I absolutely allow for commercial use. And I know that Creative Fabrica have a very clear policy as well, which I love about Creative Fabrica. And I'm also a seller on Creative Fabrica, and I'm not saying this, I'm not sponsored to say any of this. I'm just saying this because I genuinely love Creative Fabrica. I literally have a clip art collection from Creative Fabrica, and like I mentioned in the video, they send out amazing freebies that you can use in your own work as well. So I would recommend Creative Fabrica. That's something I do recommend. I will say there's actually a process that I had to go through to be even able to be approved to sell on Creative Fabrica. Now, they do like check you to see, you have to basically do an application to ask if you're allowed to sell on Creative Fabrica, and you have to have a portfolio that they look through, and they basically decide whether you can or can't sell on Creative Fabrica. Teachers Pay Teachers is different. Teachers Pay Teachers doesn't have that checking system. But what I love about Teachers Pay Teachers, especially once you are in the whole Teachers Pay Teachers world, you can kind of tell what clip artists are like legit and what clip artists are probably not legit. And with their terms of use, like I said, everyone's individual, so it's really important to really read each one's terms of use. And like I mentioned, there's some ones that I mentioned in this video that hopefully you can maybe check out, or do what I said where you can go to your particular favorite seller and you can type in free and see what they've got for free. But yeah, again, with anything, check the licenses, check the terms of use, and question whether this is able to be used for commercial use. I know sometimes it's a little bit complex and it's tricky to understand at first, and like I said, I kind of was really confused with it to begin with. I'm gaining more clarity as the time goes by, and I'm becoming more aware of where am I sourcing my particular things from, because we don't want to be getting into any issues down the track. So thank you once again, guys, and I'll see you in my next video, which will actually be 20 harsh truths about selling clip art on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I'll see you there, and feel free to check out any of these videos down below if they are of any interest to you. Guys, wishing you health, wealth, and happiness in your TPT journey and in life. Adios!